Hi everyone, my name is Keith Bailey, and I've been working in the customer service industry for many, many years, and I've also had the opportunity and privilege to working with all levels of an organization, some large organizations, some small organizations. And today I want to talk to you about what do you do when you can't say yes? Now, I know as a customer service rep, you want to say yes to your customers because it makes everything much better all the way around. But sometimes you just can't, especially when you're in a regulated, heavily regulated business. I want to start off by talking a little bit about something I learned a few years ago when I was traveling to JFK in New York. My flight landed, it was in the evening, and when my flight landed, we were told that none of the bags that we had put on the plane, checked in, had arrived. None of them had arrived. They were all going to be coming the next day. As you can imagine, we were all really upset, frustrated, and we were told to go line up and talk to these two customer service reps that were sitting behind glass, behind these two counters. So there were two lines and we were sitting there. Everybody was in the same position. None of us had our bags. We didn't have toiletries for the morning. We weren't even sure whether we'd get the clothes that we needed for what we were doing the next day, the business meetings. And so you can imagine tension was pretty high. And as I'm lining up in my line, I notice that my line is moving faster than the other line, quite a bit faster. And this fascinated me. So when I got to the window and I spoke to the customer service rep, I noticed that what she was doing was really listening to me. Now, pretty much all of us had the same story. So her listening to me was like listening to the story that she'd heard from the 30 people in front of me. But she listened, she nodded, she showed understanding, and she didn't just keep saying no. She looked for options and alternatives and always focused on what she could do rather than what she couldn't. So she gets on her computer and she looks at my baggage and gets all the claim numbers, etc. And while she's doing that and I'm waiting, I'm listening to the interactions that are happening at the next window with that customer service rep. And what I noticed was that that particular rep kept saying no. No, that's not our policy. No, we can't do that. No, we can't do this. And the customers that were waiting in that line were getting more and more frustrated with this continual barrage of no's. And so they started to argue. Now, obviously, the arguing didn't get anybody anywhere, but it took a lot of time. And that's why that line was moving slower. So I want to talk today about what do you do? How do you say no? When you can't say yes, how do you actually say no? Well, part of it is your tone, and we've covered that in a previous video and blog. But I want to talk specifically about a technique. So what not to do is give people a hard no. Just like the guy in the other line, that CSR, he was giving people a hard no. And a hard no, for a customer's perspective, is like putting up a wall. And I try and penetrate that wall as a customer. I might even come up with my own alternatives and options. Well, could I do this? Could I do that? What about if? And you just keep saying no, 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 no. And it's frustrating. And people get really, really upset. Plus, you're going to get a lot more stressed if you say a hard no. Hard no. No understanding, no empathy, no sympathy, nothing. Just, that's our policy, bam. A soft no, on the other hand, doesn't actually say the word no at the beginning of the conversation. Even though when your client is talking to you and you know there's no possible way that you can do what they're asking you to do, you start off your response by saying, well, here's what I can do. And you start to refocus yourself and them on what is possible versus what isn't. So a soft no is still saying no, but you're doing it in a way where you're offering options and alternatives. You're showing empathy and understanding. You're actually being kind and showing compassion, which on some level they will remember. And you are also being kinder to yourself, because when you get off the interaction, it'll be better. Now, here's the thing. Don't expect, if you say a soft no, the customer to be happy. Whoopee, I didn't get what I wanted. It's not going to happen. That's against human nature. When we ask for something, we want it usually. The key is that when that customer gets off the phone, they will remember that interaction, even though they didn't get what they wanted, as one where they got good service. And that will affect their perception and how they interact with your company in the future. Plus, you'll get off the call feeling like it wasn't a battle that you had to fight. So that's the first thing. Make a soft no instead of a hard no. A soft no, understanding, options, apologize, empathize. And don't say this word no in the beginning of the conversation. Point number two. Point number two is look at the other things that you can fulfill for the customer. The customer has the need they're asking for, but they also have these other needs that they're not asking for and probably don't even realize they do need, except that when they get it, there's a feeling of fulfillment that wasn't there before. This doesn't happen with a hard no. So over the years, we've put together a list of the 6 basic needs that customers have. These are not the only needs that customers have, but they're the really basic nitty-gritty ones. 1, people want you to be friendly. If you have a brusque tone in your voice and you seem offhand and not caring, they will notice that and it will escalate the stress and the conversation. People want to feel like they are understood and appreciated. 3, people want control. So if I'm talking to you and you just keep giving me a hard no, a hard no, a hard no, I feel like I have no control in the conversation. So give me information, which by the way is another basic need of the customer. People want information. So if you give me information, I feel like I'm in control. Have you ever been at an airport waiting for your flight in those days when we used to fly? And you knew the flight was going to be late because the departure time had gone and the plane's not at the gate and no one said anything? It drives you crazy, doesn't it? But as soon as someone comes over the PA system and tells you why it's late, what's happening, you feel like you're in control again. Maybe you can call the people at home that are picking you up or let the business associates know that you're going to be late, whatever. But that feeling of control is really important. The other thing is we want fairness. Customers want to feel like they're treated fairly, and also we want options and alternatives. Now, interestingly enough, when you give an option or an alternative to one of your customers, you may know that it's really not a great alternative for them, and they may know that too, and they'll probably let you know. But here's the thing. If you offer options and alternatives, people feel like you're treating them with kindness and compassion. And later, when they call the company back, they'll hold you in higher esteem than if you gave them a hard no and didn't fulfill the other needs. So next time you have to say no to a customer, hold off on saying no. Look for the other needs that you can fulfill, and there might be more that you notice in your particular industry. And also really practice saying a soft no and start by saying, what I can do is, or let me see what I can do about this. All right, good luck. Bye-bye.